Hi everyone and welcome. Today we're going on a trip back in time to the early 1900s. We're going to explore a story that's been famous for over 100 years. It's a story about how clever people were back then, about amazing things and really sad things. And it's all about a ship, a dream ship, a legendary ship, the RMS Titanic. This video is especially for a young man named Kacetyn, a really smart kid who loves learning and is super interested in the Titanic. So, Kacetyn, get comfy and let's dive into history and discover the story of the Titanic. The Titanic, my friends, wasn't just a ship. It was like a superpower ship, something really special that showed how skilled people were back then. It was a floating grand show of human ingenuity and ambition, a marvel of engineering that captured the imagination of the world. The Titanic was more than just a vessel. It was a symbol of progress, a beacon of hope, and a demonstration of what humanity could achieve when it set its mind to something grand and audacious. A company called the White Star Line wanted to build the biggest, fanciest ship ever, and that ship was the Titanic. The White Star Line was a prestigious British shipping company known for its luxurious ocean liners. They envisioned the Titanic as the crown jewel of their fleet, a ship that would outshine all others in terms of size, luxury, and technological innovation. The ambition behind the Titanic was not just to create a mode of transportation, but to craft an experience that would redefine ocean travel. They built it at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Northern Ireland. This shipyard was one of the largest and most advanced in the world at the time, a fitting birthplace for such an ambitious project. The construction of the Titanic was a monumental task, requiring the coordination of thousands of workers, engineers, and craftsmen. The shipyard buzzed with activity, a hive of industry where every piece of the Titanic was meticulously crafted and assembled. For over 3 years, thousands of workers built it, their hammers going bang, bang, bang like a giant orchestra, putting this huge ship together. The sound of construction was a symphony of progress, each strike of the hammer a note in the grand composition of the Titanic. These workers, often laboring in harsh conditions, poured their sweat and skill into every rivet and beam, driven by the knowledge that they were part of something historic. The Titanic was a giant metal puzzle, over 882 feet long and 175 feet tall. To put that into perspective, it was longer than the height of the tallest buildings of its time, and as tall as a modern 17-story building. The sheer scale of the Titanic was awe-inspiring, a floating city that dwarfed anything that had come before it. Its size was a testament to the ambition and vision of its creators, a physical manifestation of their desire to push the boundaries of what was possible. The bottom of the ship was divided into 16 parts, like separate rooms. These were the Titanic's watertight compartments, a revolutionary safety feature designed to keep the ship afloat, even if multiple compartments were breached. The idea was that the ship could survive significant damage without sinking, a concept that gave the Titanic its reputation as an unsinkable ship. This design was a marvel of engineering, a complex system that required precise calculations and expert craftsmanship. They thought this would make it impossible to sink. The belief in the Titanic's invincibility was so strong that it became a key part of its legend. People marveled at the ship's advanced safety features, confident that it represented the pinnacle of maritime engineering. The Titanic was seen as a triumph of human ingenuity, a ship that could conquer the unpredictable and often treacherous seas. Inside were giant engines that could push the ship at 21 knots, which is pretty fast for a ship across the big Atlantic Ocean. These engines were technological marvels in their own right, massive machines that converted steam into power with incredible efficiency. The Titanic's propulsion system was state-of-the-art, featuring 3 propellers driven by a combination of steam engines and turbines. This allowed the ship to maintain a steady and impressive speed, making transatlantic travel faster and more reliable. The Titanic was a symbol of how much people could do, a floating palace ready to rule the seas. It was more than just a ship, it was a statement of human achievement, a testament to the power of innovation and ambition. The Titanic represented the pinnacle of luxury and technological advancement, a ship that promised not just a journey but an experience unlike any other. It was designed to be the ultimate expression of opulence and sophistication, a vessel that would set new standards for ocean travel. But the Titanic wasn't just a big, strong ship, it was also super fancy and luxurious. The interiors of the Titanic were designed to rival the finest hotels and palaces of the time. Every detail was carefully considered, from the grand staircase that greeted first-class passengers to the opulent dining rooms where they would enjoy gourmet meals. The ship was a showcase of the best that money could buy, a floating palace that offered unparalleled comfort and elegance. Inside, it had beautiful wood, shiny chandeliers and soft carpets. The craftsmanship and attention to detail were evident in every corner of the ship. The wood paneling was made from the finest materials. The chandeliers sparkled with crystal brilliance and the carpets were plush and inviting. The Titanic was a masterpiece of interior design, a place where passengers could relax and enjoy the height of luxury as they crossed the Atlantic. It was like a palace. The Titanic's interiors were designed to impress and delight, creating an atmosphere of grandeur and sophistication. The grand staircase was a focal point, a stunning architectural feature that symbolized the elegance and opulence of the ship. The first-class lounge was a haven of comfort, a place where passengers could socialize and enjoy the finest amenities. Every aspect of the Titanic's design was intended to provide an unparalleled experience of luxury and refinement. First-class passengers had huge rooms with their own balconies, fancy dining rooms, even a gym and a swimming pool. The accommodations on the Titanic were second to none, offering a level of comfort and convenience that was unmatched by any other ship. The first-class cabins were spacious and elegantly furnished, with private balconies that provided stunning views of the ocean. The dining rooms served gourmet meals prepared by top chefs, and the ship even had a gym and a swimming pool, amenities that were rare and luxurious at the time. The Titanic wasn't just a way to get across the ocean, it was like a whole city on water, made to give rich people anything they wanted. The ship was designed to cater to the needs and desires of its wealthy passengers, offering a wide range of amenities and services. From fine dining and entertainment to leisure and relaxation, the Titanic provided everything that its passengers could possibly want. It was a self-contained world of luxury and indulgence, a place where the rich and famous could enjoy the best that life had to offer. The men who made this amazing ship were J. Bruce Ismay, the boss of the White Star Line, and Thomas Andrews, the ship's clever designer. Ismay was a visionary leader who dreamed of creating the most luxurious and advanced ship in the world. Andrews was a brilliant engineer and designer responsible for turning Ismay's vision into reality. Together they formed a dynamic duo, combining their talents and expertise to create a ship that would become a legend. Ismay wanted a ship that would change how people traveled across the ocean, a symbol of luxury and being important. He envisioned the Titanic as a game-changer, a ship that would set new standards for ocean travel and redefine the concept of luxury. Ismay's ambition was to create a vessel that would not only be the largest and most luxurious ship in the world, but also a symbol of prestige and status. He wanted the Titanic to be a floating palace that would attract the wealthiest and most influential people of the time. Andrews worked really hard on every part of the ship, from the engines to the big staircase, making sure everything was perfect. His attention to detail and commitment to excellence were evident in every aspect of the Titanic's design. Andrews was a hands-on designer, personally overseeing the construction and ensuring that every element met his high standards. He was dedicated to creating a ship that was not only beautiful and luxurious, but also safe and reliable. Together they created a legend, a ship that will always be remembered. The Titanic's story is one of ambition, innovation, and tragedy, a tale that has captivated the world for over a century. The ship's legacy lives on, a reminder of the heights that human ingenuity can reach and the risks that come with pushing the boundaries of what is possible. The Titanic remains a symbol of both the triumphs and the vulnerabilities of human endeavor, a testament to the enduring power of dreams and the relentless pursuit of progress. Life on the Titanic was like a little town on water, with its own things to do. The ship was a marvel of its time, a floating palace that catered to the needs and whims of its passengers. It was designed to be the epitome of luxury and comfort, offering an experience that was unparalleled in the early 20th century. The Titanic was not just a means of transportation, it was a destination in itself. People could walk on the decks, listen to music, and enjoy the fresh sea air. The ship had a band that played music to entertain the passengers, creating a lively and pleasant atmosphere. The musicians were highly skilled and played a variety of tunes, from classical pieces to popular songs of the day. This added a touch of elegance and sophistication to the voyage, and even read the news in the ship's own newspaper. The Titanic had its own daily publication, which was quite an innovation at the time. This newspaper kept passengers informed about the latest news from around the world, as well as events and activities happening on the ship. It was a way to keep everyone connected and engaged, even while they were miles away from land. It was called the Atlantic Daily Bulletin, and it came out every day, telling people what was happening in the world and on the ship. This daily bulletin was eagerly anticipated by the passengers, as it provided a sense of normalcy and routine. It included news articles, advertisements, and even social announcements, making it a comprehensive source of information and entertainment. Imagine reading fresh news while sailing across the ocean. This was a remarkable feat, considering the limited communication technologies of the time. The ship's wireless operators worked tirelessly to receive news updates and relay them to the editorial team, who then compiled the bulletin. It was a testament to the ingenuity and dedication of the crew. That shows how fancy the Titanic was. The ship was adorned with luxurious interiors, featuring opulent furnishings, intricate woodwork, and lavish decorations. Every detail was meticulously crafted to create an atmosphere of grandeur and sophistication. The first-class areas were particularly impressive, with spacious cabins, elegant dining rooms, and exclusive lounges. If you wanted to have fun, the Titanic had lots of things to do, including something very unusual for a ship back then. The ship offered a wide range of recreational activities to keep passengers entertained throughout the voyage. There were games, sports, and social events, ensuring that there was never a dull moment on board. It had a heated swimming pool. This was a rare and luxurious feature, as most ships of that era did not have swimming pools. The pool was a popular spot for passengers to relax and unwind, offering a refreshing escape from the confines of the ship. It was heated to a comfortable temperature, making it enjoyable even in cooler weather. Most ships didn't have pools, so this was a big deal. The presence of a swimming pool on the Titanic was a testament to the ship's commitment to providing the highest level of luxury and comfort. It was a feature that set the Titanic apart from other ships and added to its allure and prestige. First-class passengers could take a swim even in the middle of the ocean. This was a unique and exhilarating experience, as it allowed passengers to enjoy the sensation of swimming while being surrounded by the vast expanse of the ocean. It was a privilege that was reserved for the wealthiest and most elite passengers on board. The Titanic was really a special ship. It was a symbol of human ingenuity and ambition, representing the pinnacle of maritime engineering and design. The ship was a marvel of its time, and its story continues to captivate and inspire people to this day. While first-class passengers lived like royalty, things were different for people in third class. The third-class accommodations were much more modest, with basic amenities and shared facilities. However, for many of the passengers, the opportunity to travel on the Titanic was a dream come true, as it offered them a chance for a new beginning in America. Most of them were immigrants coming to America for a better life. They were filled with hope and optimism, eager to start a new chapter in their lives. The journey on the Titanic was a significant step towards achieving their dreams, and they endured the hardships of third-class travel with resilience and determination. They slept in big rooms with lots of other people and shared bathrooms. The third-class cabins were crowded and lacked the privacy and comfort of the first-class accommodations. Despite these challenges, the passengers made the best of their situation, forming close-knit communities and supporting each other throughout the journey. And while first class had fancy private bathrooms, there were only 2 bathtubs for hundreds of people in third class. This stark contrast highlighted the social and economic disparities of the time. The third-class passengers had to wait their turn to use the limited facilities, often enduring long lines and crowded conditions. It shows how different life was for rich and poor people, even on a big ship. The Titanic was a microcosm of society, reflecting the class divisions and inequalities of the early 20th century. The experiences of the passengers varied greatly depending on their social status. with first-class passengers enjoying unparalleled luxury and third-class passengers facing significant challenges. Here's a funny fact about the Titanic. Despite its grandeur and sophistication, the ship had its quirks and peculiarities. One of the most interesting features was its smokestacks. It had 4 big smokestacks, which made it look really powerful. These smokestacks were a defining characteristic of the ship, giving it a distinctive and imposing appearance. They were designed to convey a sense of strength and reliability, reassuring passengers of the ship's capabilities. But guess what? Only 3 of them worked. The 4th smokestack was purely decorative, serving no functional purpose. It was added to enhance the ship's aesthetic appeal and create a more balanced and symmetrical look. The 4th one was just for show, to make the ship look even more impressive. This clever design choice added to the Titanic's mystique and grandeur, making it one of the most iconic and memorable ships in history. The Titanic, a giant of its time, had passengers from all walks of life. This magnificent ship, often referred to as the Unsinkable, was a floating microcosm of society. It carried the dreams, hopes, and aspirations of over 2,200 people. From the wealthiest elites to the humblest immigrants, the Titanic was a vessel of stories, each as unique as the individuals who lived them. There were super-rich businessmen, regular families, and people looking for a new life in America. The first-class passengers enjoyed unparalleled luxury, with amenities that rivaled the finest hotels of the time. They dined in opulent dining rooms, strolled along grand promenades, and slept in lavish suites. Meanwhile, in steerage, families huddled together, sharing cramped quarters and dreaming of the opportunities that awaited them in the new world. The fanciest rooms were filled with some of the richest people in the world. These rooms were adorned with exquisite furnishings, fine linens, and the latest in modern conveniences. The grand staircase, a marvel of Edwardian craftsmanship, was a symbol of the opulence that defined the first-class experience. It was a world of elegance and sophistication, where the elite could indulge in the finest things life had to offer. Their names were famous, and everyone knew how wealthy they were. John Jacob Astor IV, one of the richest men in the world, was a prominent figure on board. Isidore and Ida Strauss, co-owners of Macy's department store, were also among the elite passengers. Benjamin Guggenheim, a mining magnate, was another notable name. These individuals were not just wealthy, they were symbols of the American dream, having built their fortunes through hard work and determination. But the Titanic wasn't just for rich people, it was also a beacon of hope for many who sought a better life. The second and third class passengers, though not as affluent, were equally important. They were teachers, clerks, laborers, and craftsmen, each with their own story and purpose. They traveled with their families, carrying with them the promise of a new beginning in a land of opportunity. In the less fancy rooms, families traveled together, bringing all their hopes and dreams with them. These families often shared small, cramped cabins, but their spirits were high. They spent their days on the crowded steerage deck, mingling with fellow passengers and sharing stories of their pasts and hopes for the future. Despite the modest accommodations, there was a sense of camaraderie and shared purpose among them. Every person on board had a story, a life ready for something new. The Titanic was more than just a ship. It was a vessel of dreams. Each passenger, whether rich or poor, carried with them a unique narrative. Some were escaping hardship, others were seeking adventure, and many were simply looking to reunite with loved ones. The passenger manifest was a tapestry of human experience, woven together by the shared journey across the Atlantic. John Jacob Astor IV, a super-rich man, was on the Titanic with his young wife Madeline. Astor, a prominent businessman and real estate developer, had recently married Madeline, who was significantly younger than him. Their presence on the Titanic was a topic of much interest and speculation. The couple was returning to America after an extended honeymoon in Europe, and their journey was meant to be a continuation of their romantic adventure. Everyone knew the Astor family. They were a symbol of wealth and influence in American society. The Astor family mansion was a testament to their opulence, and their lives were frequently chronicled in newspapers and magazines. John Jacob Astor IV was not just a wealthy man, he was a public figure, known for his business acumen and his contributions to society, they were incredibly wealthy and important in America. The Astors were part of the American aristocracy, a class of individuals who wielded significant power and influence. Their wealth allowed them to live lives of luxury and privilege, but it also came with responsibilities. John Jacob Astor IV was known for his philanthropy and his efforts to improve the lives of others. He was a man of many talents, and his legacy extended far beyond his financial success. Astor was a businessman, an inventor, and even a soldier. He had served in the Spanish-American War and was known for his bravery and leadership. As an inventor, he held several patents, including one for a bicycle brake and another for a turbine engine. His business ventures were diverse, ranging from real estate to technology. Astor was a man of vision and innovation, always looking for new ways to make a difference. But on that sad night, when the Titanic sank, even all his money couldn't save him. The disaster struck with a suddenness that left little time for escape. As the ship went down, the lifeboats were lowered, but there were not enough for everyone. Despite his wealth and status, Astor faced the same fate as many others on board. He ensured that his wife, Madeline, was safely placed in a lifeboat, but he himself remained behind, a testament to his courage and selflessness. His story reminds us that even the richest people can't control everything. The sinking of the Titanic was a stark reminder of the fragility of life and the limits of human power. No amount of money or influence could alter the course of that tragic night. The stories of those who perished, like John Jacob Astor IV, serve as poignant reminders of our shared humanity and the unpredictable nature of fate. There was also a love story on the Titanic. Among the many tales of heroism and tragedy, the story of Isidor and Ida Strauss stands out as a testament to enduring love. The couple, who had been married for over 40 years, were inseparable. They were well known for their devotion to each other, and their love story was one of the most touching narratives to emerge from the disaster. Isidor and Ida Strauss, a couple who owned the famous Macy's store, were on board. They were returning to America after a trip to Europe, and their presence on the Titanic was a reflection of their status and success. Isidor Strauss was a prominent businessman and philanthropist known for his contributions to the retail industry and his charitable work. Ida Strauss was equally respected, known for her kindness and generosity. Isidor was offered a spot on a lifeboat, but he refused to leave his wife Ida. In a moment of profound love and loyalty, Isidor chose to stay by his wife's side, even as the ship was sinking. Ida too refused to leave without her husband. Their decision to remain together, even in the face of certain death, was a powerful testament to their bond and their commitment to each other. They stayed together as the ship sank. The image of Isidor and Ida Strauss sitting together on the deck, holding hands as the Titanic went down, is one of the most enduring and poignant memories of the disaster. Their love story is a reminder of the strength of the human spirit and the power of love to transcend even the most dire circumstances. Their story shows how strong love can be, even in the face of disaster. The tale of Isidor and Ida Strauss is a beacon of hope and inspiration, illustrating that love can endure even the greatest of challenges. Their legacy lives on not just in the history of the Titanic, but in the hearts of those who hear their story. We remember the famous people who died on the Titanic, but it's important to remember everyone else too. The steerage passengers, the second-class travelers, and the crew members all played a vital role in the story of the Titanic. Their lives, though not as well documented, were equally significant. They were the unsung heroes, the everyday people whose dreams and aspirations were just as important as those of the wealthy elite. Especially the families in the cheaper rooms who faced the greatest hardships. These families, often traveling with little more than the clothes on their backs, were seeking a better life in America. They endured the cramped conditions of steerage, the uncertainty of their future, and the ultimate tragedy of the sinking. Their stories are a testament to the resilience and determination of the human spirit, the immigrants looking for a better life. These individuals, hailing from various parts of Europe, were driven by the hope of a new beginning. They left behind their homes, their families, and their pasts, all in search of the promise of America. Their journey was fraught with challenges, but their determination to build a better future for themselves and their loved ones was unwavering. Each person on the Titanic had a story, and even though they died, their stories are still important. The legacy of the Titanic is not just about the ship itself, but about the people who were on board. Their lives, their dreams, and their stories continue to resonate with us today. As we remember the tragedy, we honor the memory of those who perished and the enduring human spirit that they represent. When the Titanic crew realized how much trouble they were in, they tried everything to get help. The giant ship, now hurt and sinking, used the technology of the time to send messages. They sent out calls for help, reaching out across the North Atlantic. They used the SOS signal, which everyone knows today, a scary sign of the terrible things happening. The Titanic's messages reached other ships and stations hundreds of miles away. They sent the CQD signal, which was another way to call for help back then. One of the ships that heard the Titanic was the Carpathia, a passenger ship going to New York. The Carpathia's captain, Arthur Rostron, heard the weak signals and quickly turned his ship around to go help. The Carpathia raced as fast as it could towards the Titanic. The crew got ready to rescue people, knowing it would be a tough job. They saw lifeboats filled with survivors floating on the ocean, a sad reminder of what happened to the Titanic. The Carpathia's arrival gave people hope. Even though the Carpathia rescued many people, many others died. The Titanic, once a symbol of how clever people are, sank to the bottom of the ocean. The calls for help are a haunting reminder of that terrible night. The story of the Titanic is still remembered today, and it shows how strong people can be, even when facing a terrible disaster. On April 10th, 1912, the Titanic, a super impressive ship, started its first trip. People from all over, rich and poor, were excited to be on board, ready for a new adventure. The Titanic left Southampton, England, and sailed out to the open sea. Everyone was having fun, not knowing what would happen soon. As the Titanic sailed west, there was a hidden danger: icebergs. On the night of April 14th, 1912, the Titanic got warnings about icebergs, but they didn't listen carefully enough. At 11:40 p.m., the Titanic hit an iceberg. The ship, which everyone thought was unsinkable, was in big trouble. At first, some people didn't believe the ship was really sinking, but as water came in, the ship started to tilt. People got scared as the crew started putting people into lifeboats, mostly women and children. Even though it was scary, some people acted bravely, helping others. Early in the morning, on April 15th, 1912, the Titanic sank, and over 1,500 people died. The Carpathia arrived and rescued the people in the lifeboats. The sinking of the Titanic was a terrible tragedy that shocked the world. It reminds us that even when people build amazing things, nature is still very powerful. So, Kacetyn, we remember the Titanic, a story of lost dreams, bravery, and a reminder that nature is very powerful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, please subscribe for more history videos. Also, check the description for links to support the channel.